Hey, welcome back. So I'm going to do a quick video on the bundle sale because it relates to my free-to-play account. I still have some other stuff in the pipeline, like a Legendary Akira build video and kind of a bigger project I want to talk about, revamping the difficulty of the game kind of thing. But I wanted to just talk real quick, go over this free-to-play account. So basically I have Temporal Recruit, Klingon Recruit, Delta Recruit, and then I forgot these other ones. And the original character on this account was the Dominion Recruit. So basically I created a recruit at the beginning of each event and leveled it up to 65 to get some of the account-wide rewards, and then doing some random TFOs, usually in this Jirok carrier, because that was free, and just using whatever gear I find in missions or whatever. It's good enough. And I use these characters to funnel dilithium into the main character on this account, this guy, who now, after the last couple of months, I was able to accumulate enough Zen now that the Dill exchange is fixed. I actually have been able to get up to 5850, and the reason why I was trying to get to 5850 is that is the price of the Legendary Dominion Captain Bundle when it's 35% off. So now that 35% off sale is here, just in time, and purchasing this will get me the Jem'Hadar attack ship account-wide, which comes with 2 really good traits, and obviously the ship itself is really fantastic. It's a shame that this character is Dominion already, because I could have a Vanguard species Dominion, but I'm not willing to buy all of the character-bound stuff that I have on this character again just for a minor trait change. So I'm just going to buy it on this character that I have here. So let's go ahead and buy that bundle. That's all my Zen gone. Now I can grab, there we go, we'll claim the ship. And I forget where all that other stuff is. Okay, I'll take those. Yeah. Anyway, I think it comes with like a couple of other things, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. What I really wanted was the ship. So now I have the, there it is. So look at that, free to play, legendary, Jem'Hadar. And I'm gonna go over kind of my process on setting up a ship fresh here really quick. I've already done a build video for this ship specifically in detail, but of course that's with whatever stuff I already have. Luckily they give away these experimental upgrades like crazy, so I can upgrade it for free. Let's name it something. Sure. Okay, so first thing to do is get rid of all of the default gear because it's all terrible. I guess I'll hold on to these Polaron cannons. I'm not sure if I'll ever actually use them, and I don't think that this is really any good, but whatever. Dominion Defense Screen Console. This one gives a little bit of crit chance and severity, so that's pretty nice for PvE. And a little bit for PvP, of course, but I know from before having this that the 95% shield resistance is a lie. It's less than that. And also firing weapons. The way I play, I just have auto fire on. I know that if you wanted to really push the limits, you would put your weapons on like a separate keybind, or your firing on a separate keybind, but I don't do that. So since I auto fire my weapons, that means that the duration of this console is going to be almost nothing for me. So basically that's trash, but I'm going to hang on to it anyway. And luckily I already have a dogfighter build kind of set up, but I'm going to take the piezo-polaron, and I'm doing, let's ready the ship, I guess. I'm going to take the piezo-polaron and the wide angle, and I'm using phasers. I already had targeting linked, so I'm just going to go ahead and put those 3 in there. You could use arrays or whatever you want. I also bought a little while ago these obliviating weapons that have the extra chance for shield penetration and armor penetration. I haven't tested those to make sure it's actually armor pen. If it really is 30 armor pen, then that's pretty powerful, but it might be hull pen, in which case it would be not very much. And I'm going to go with the Jem'Hadar deflector for the perception. Competitive impulse engines, of course. I accidentally bought 2 bolstered warp cores on this account, so that was a mistake, but there we go. Fortified shield. And then since I'm doing phaser, I have the inhibiting phaser, and then just like a crafted Omni. Obviously, I'm not going to buy a targeting linked Omni. I don't even have a targeting linked Omni on my main account, so I'm definitely not buying it free to play. And then I'm probably going to run my engine power pretty high on this build, so I'm going to do Soliton Impeller. Devices, got to have deuterium, reactive armor catalyst, and then I like team batteries. Not everyone uses these, but every once in a while throw in a team battery in there. Engines and aux is my favorite one, but you could also do engines and shields, for example, to help out a teammate, like if you see they're in trouble. It's not much, but it's something. And then we'll do the colony consoles, so that's this. And I am kind of following a template here. I'm only going to do 4 of them, but I like to carry the 5th one around in my inventory, just in case. And let's see, I like Lorcas, so that's the 2-piece with the dual beam. And then, let's see, so I feel like I have to have hostile acquisition for the accuracy and control. It's just a really good console. And I got obfuscation screen, so I'll put that on, but I need something with a little bit more defense. Crystalline absorption matrix is pretty good. Helps me survive some incoming damage there. Let's see. I'm on a pretty tight budget, obviously, so I just bought stuff off the exchange. Pax Triburnum is always a good choice. Fluidic decoupler is a good choice. Molecular inversion. But that takes your weapons offline, so I tend not to use that on dogfighters. I prefer that one on like science builds and stuff. Even shared processing integration is a big heal, and now it doesn't conflict with hull image refractors, which I'm definitely taking. Both phase decoy is good. That's a Phoenix console, so that's free. Tachyon net drones is pretty good, but the way it deploys, it kind of lends itself to be used on a control build, even though the passives are pretty good, crit chance and severity. And same thing with detection field is good. Enhanced induction coils is also really good, just extra power all around. Yeah, I think I'm going to do induction coils. So let's see, I have these 2 defensive consoles and this escape console to get out of like parasitic ice and hold and stuff. The thing that's so great about this ship is that it's intel and pilot. And intel and pilot mean that you have some built-in untargetable abilities like evade target lock, which will get you out of parasitic ice or the parliament bubble, or most PvP holds you can get out of with an untargetable. So fluidic decoupler is kind of just there as a backup to the bridge officer abilities. So that's sort of the basics of the gear. Next thing I want to do is I want to edit the ship, because I really don't like this default skin, but I like the just standard classic Jem'Hadar kind of look. But you can make some pretty weird stuff with this. very anime. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it with that default kind of look. That looks good to me. Okay, so and then the next thing is I'm going to beam to space, because anytime you start messing with like traits and bridge officers and stuff, if you don't do it in space, it gets all screwed up. And I might have to go back to ground again to get like a couple of buff abilities or something, but I want to save my progress as I'm going so I don't forget what I'm working on here. So first thing is at the power level, so I'm going to do engine or weapons at maximum and then engine second to max, save and close. There's a new HUD element, the wingman. I'm going to move out of the way here. Don't really like those getting in the way. And then let's look at the traits. So I like secret command codes and reconstructive radiation for staying alive. Yeah, all this stuff is good. Probably not unconventional systems on this build. I don't think I'll have enough control abilities to make it worthwhile. Yeah, I might try to save up some EC. Only got about 4 million, but I could work my way up and maybe buy Contexts for Kings. That would be a good one. Or something else. I could do Fleet Coordinator, as long as I'm in a team. But just in case I'm not in a team, I'm going to do... And I could just do Smuggler's Luck or Thrill Seeker. Beam training for just straight up bonus damage. Yeah, let's do that. More damage is always good. Okay, so these are traits from whatever my last build was. I don't think I need going the extra mile. And I lucked out and I got cold-hearted, so that's good. Oh, I can do Temporal Surge because I have intel abilities. And Concealed Repairs I like for the heal. But I probably... Yeah, thinking long-term, I'm going to want to get Super Weapon Ingenuity, which is the trait that extends beam overload to last the full 15 seconds, so it's global. And when I get that, I will replace Concealed Repairs with that offensive trait. But for right now, I don't really have anything better. Concealed Repairs it's very powerful heal, so... and all the rest of this stuff I think I'm going to leave alone, so I'm just going to stick with what I have here. I am going to ditch Automated Proto-Matter just for Tyler's Duality. A little more crit since I have more hull. Let's see what my stats are like. Yeah, 28.5. And that's before I even slot the other stuff. So let's do, yeah. Alright, so let's save that. And I'm going to call this one Snoop because I have the Jem'Hadar deflector. And probably what I'll do is I'll do two different loadouts. One will be a Snoop loadout with the Jem'Hadar deflector and Tachyon detection grid, or Tachyon net drones, or all three, something like that. And then I'll make a new loadout based on that one called DF damage, and it'll be the colony deflector. And get rid of that extra perception stuff and go more damage. And then I can switch between them depending on the combat situation. You know, if I go into an arena and I see someone running Exodus on their buff bar, then I'll switch to the Snoop layout. And if nobody's running Exodus or I don't have trouble targeting, then I'll switch back to the damage layout. That way I can focus a little extra damage in there. So that's traits pretty much sorted. Let's do the bridge officer layout. So I was able to buy a couple of Romulans as well from farming. So I'm going to do hold together. Okay, that looks good. I don't have the Boimler effect. If I did, I would consider putting... It's a tough call because I like to have Photonic Officer. So let me move the potato down here and put Science Team there because I have to have Science Team. And then I have... Okay. So Oxysif... And then engineering team, let's put RSP. Yeah, okay, I like that. And then for the science seat, photonic officer, and then I need to train someone in Intel. I mean, this guy already is trained in Intel, but the thing is basically what I'm working around is I have beam overload here, and I really need cannon scatter volley for the healing. But if I put it here, then I lose lambda, which is a big perception drop, which I could train Omega and put Omega up here. Or I could just go without an attack pattern, I guess, but that seems risky. I mean, usually the way I do it is I put lambda here like this, and overload here, and then I do, and then I put a tactical here. And then I put, yeah, so usually what I do is I put in this seat a evade target lock and then Intel team, or 2 copies of Intel team and scatter volley or whatever. And that's just for the purpose of Intel. But since I don't have Boimler on this character, and I'm not going to be able to afford it for a long time because that's 80 or 90 million or something like that. I'm kind of forced into using Photonic Officer, which is fine. I mean, that's how I was running the other, even on my main account, that's how I ran it for a long time. Only recently I switched away. So I'll just move the Potate guy here, and I'll put, actually, I think I'll do Photonic Officer 2 to just guarantee the cooldowns. And then evade target lock and Intel team. Maybe switch those around. Intel team, evade target lock. And let's see, that opens up this last random ensign slot. I'll do the human for the whole regen for now. Eventually I'll want to replace all of these guys with Romulans now that Romulans can be had on any character. So I've got my cooldowns and my intel sorted. I've got my engineer sorted. And I do have... Yeah, that's a shame. So I really need to add cannon scatter volley. So I think I'm going to have to replace hold together with scatter volley 3 so that I can keep lambda, because lambda is just really powerful. I mean, I could do just like this, scatter volley 1, and just forgo lambda. But lambda 2, 50 accuracy, 500 perception, I feel like that's a must-have at the moment. So, okay, so let's save. And then what was I needed? Scatter volley 3. Okay, and let me see. I don't have a... Okay, so scatter volley 3 doesn't come from the bridge officer trainer that's at social zones. You have to either buy it off of the exchange or find a BOF that has it. So I'll show you what I do for that. If I look up scatter volley, it's 340,000, and I'm poor and cheap and refuse to do that. So I know that tactical bridge officers sometimes have it. So I'm just going to hover over each one and scroll down until I find it. There's one, 60,000. That saves me a lot of money. All right, so now I'll go back to my candidate roster and let's create a manual. Omega, okay, and then create a manual. Scatter volley, okay, and that's from Tech 2. Come up here and we'll teach them both of those. Right, back up to the ship. All right, so I'm just gonna put scatter volley there. All right, I think that's about as good as I can do it for right now. Let me set up my trays here, and this one, it's going to depend a lot on what kind of player you are, but I kind of have my own method. I usually just drag everything completely off of it and then basically start from scratch. Okay, and then I usually put these structural reinforcement things from the Jem'Hadar wingmen. I just put them on my spam bar. They actually heal a pretty good amount, 1950 a second for 15 seconds. So that makes you pretty tanky. I'm a WASD pilot, not a mouse pilot. So I've got 5 for evasive, control 5 fluidic, shift 5 deuterium, so that's all my speed stuff. 3 and 4 are my untargetables. I could move this up to my heal bar, but I like to be able to manually activate it. Okay, so let's save that loadout. And just for now, I'm going to switch in that colony deflector. Let me check my DOFs, just in case. Let's see. Okay, invasive DOF, accuracy DOF, beam overload pen DOF, 5 of 47 because I didn't have anything better, placate, debuff cleanse. Okay, alright, let's just run through a wanted real quick. Make sure it's flying right and everything feels good. Okay. Wow, look at that. Feels just like my main account. And I didn't pay any money at all. So, yeah, so by the end of this year, I'm going to have even more stuff because I'll have the event campaign to choose from again. And I could do like weapon emitter overdrive or some, you know, or Exodus or something like that, some premium trait, but most likely I'm going to do Lobby again. And I'm going to get the Adaleth so I can have the beam overload extends trait. And then I'm going to do the probably the Maquis Raider for Plasma Storm. That way the science build on this character can have Plasma Storm. But I'm tempted to do the NX refit so that I can have preferential targeting. Because right now I've got Superior Pedal of Metal and Cold Hearted. But if I had preferential targeting as well as an option, that could be pretty good. I love Cold Hearted as a debuff, but remember Cold Hearted only stacks 5 times, even if you have teammates running it. So it does get a little bit of a limitation there. And if I could slot in Superior Pedal of the Metal plus preferential targeting, it would increase my just raw damage output a lot. And that helps against other people that are running like a lot of temporary hull like I am. And that kind of thing. So, well, there you have it. And last little note to talk about, and I've already mentioned this a little bit in my other video, but the 2 traits that this ship has, Go for the Kill extends the duration of rapid fire, so that's a fire mode extend trait. And then the Vanguard Specialist extends the duration of surgical strikes, as well as reroute reserves, and whatever future specialist fire modes, you know, if exceed rated limits ever get to buff, for example, then this would also work with that. So basically this character now, I could do a cannon build, a rapid fire cannon build with full uptime, and I could also do a surgical strikes build with full uptime as soon as I master the ship. And now that I've already done 1 patrol, I'm probably most of the way there. And I probably could have mastered it in 1 go if I'd done like rescue and search or something like that, but I wanted to do Argala just because it's real quick and easy and I can get this video out faster, because I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me farming basically. Yeah, up to level 3 already, so let's see. So I get 2.5 more crit chance But I'm already up to 30-some% with 77 accuracy. If I do Lambda, and if I can get that Borg Doff to proc, I could get my accuracy even higher. If I am really worried about accuracy, or if I'm noticing a lot of misses that aren't from people doing pilot rolls, I'll probably consider slotting the predictive algorithms trait, because this would be, what's that, 15, 30 accuracy? Oh yeah, let's see how much resistance I have at speed. So yeah, I'm pretty much 70-some% across the board. And for those of you who don't know, if you look at my defense rating, it's going to spike up whenever Intel Team activates, because that adds some defense. And then if you do a pilot roll, obviously you're immune to damage, but there is a lockout on that immunity. But even if you are locked out from being immune to damage and you do a pilot roll, you still are going to get 1,000 defense. See, that's a pilot roll. 1,000 defense for a pilot roll, so that helps you dodge a lot of damage even if you're not immune to it. So something to keep in mind. I do think I'm not super pleased with these cooldowns, so I might have to look into getting some Borg Doffs. I remember I bought like a 35, I think, back when they were cheap. Yeah. And 47 won't work for this, but the 35 is probably good. So 35 is the cooldown between engineer and pilot abilities. So that at least fills kind of some gaps. Still not perfect, but no method really is. Boimler would be something I think long term I also should start grinding for, and could probably afford in a couple of months if I keep doing my endeavors. That's actually where most of the EC that this character gets comes from, just doing these endeavors every day. And I've got this thing up to 234 endeavor rank, so it's only, let's see. So that's July 3rd, so it's about a little over a year and a half old. Pretty good to me, and I'm looking forward to using it in a couple more PvP matches. Now I got an even better ship to play around with. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more videos coming up. Thanks. Bye.